Hi, I'm Edric.
I'm Joy,
We're here to help you get it.
right from the start.
So we have Camille and VJ. I want to say again, but really it's for a good stretch because there's so much we can learn. There's so many layers to how God has allowed your family to come together. And we gave some stats in the previous episode about how this seems to be the new normal in Philippines, where majority of families are not birthed the way that traditionally they are. So mom and dad married, biological kids. And so you represent several layers. We've talked about single parenting, which is before you came together, and now you're together. So let's jump into that. I know you asked a little bit about their love story. Joy's very excited to ask you these juicy, I call them joy questions. Every time we meet couples, seriously, I'm like, guys, wait for it because she loves to ask anywhere in the world. Seriously, she's like, okay, here's my question. So here it is. Go.
I'd love to ask this question in particular because I think it says a lot about what you guys are looking for. But maybe we can start off by asking VJ first. What did you first like about Camille?
What did I first like about Camille?
Maybe it's the first time I'm hearing it too.
Well, aside from she's very attractive.
Yeah.
That's the first physical aspect. I was really attracted because she looks good.
Okay.
And-
But it was a long distance
than that.
relationship.
No. He first met her. Remember, they knew each other
When
Grade
we were in grade
way
2,
back.
So she was
Yeah,
already
crush on
attractive
me.
in grade
Yes,
school.
So,
I already had
so that was the first, right?
I already
Initially.
had a crush on her way back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Way
So
way.
that's the one. But beyond that,
Beyond the physical, what was it that, there's something about Camille, her personality that is what?
Well, she's authentic. She's very
Mm.
authentic. Very, kind.
Parang slow.
Like Princess Sarah. Like Princess Sarah nga.
No, she's very authentic. I can tell that, kapag authentic siya, hindi siya masyadong, maarte. Not like that.
it's not high maintenance.
Not high maintenance. Not high maintenance.
Okay, so those are the things.
Okay.
Interesting.
So you said, of course, beautiful. And then you said that she was very authentic and then
Not
super
pretentious. I
kind.
think I'm adding words. It's not pretentious.
Pretentious.
It's not high maintenance.
Easygoing.
Right?
Easygoing. There
Okay.
you go.
All right. And now you, Camille. What attracted you to VJ?
His voice.
No, you're serious.
No, yeah. Because
Mm.
when we started talking, it was just on the phone.
That's right, because it's not cell phone.
Yeah.
Telebabad. That was the word
naman.
from our first
Bakit?
episode.
2012, there's Viber na.
6.
No, regular call.
Ah,
Skype.
Yeah,
Skype.
Skype.
Was the
Skype.
platform. So
You
there
could
were
see his-
platforms. Okay.
You saw
Yes.
his face.
Not yet. Not at
Oh,
the
it's really
beginning.
the voice.
Mga siguro we were talking consistently for about 2 weeks before we finally found the courage to do video.
No, remember we saw each other 2011.
Yeah, but first before we met in the States, nag-video call muna tayo.
Yeah.
And I was so hiya and parang what? We're gonna
No,
be
at first
talking.
texting and then
And then calling
audio.
and then
I
video
see.
calling.
Video.
So the sequence of events is you met when you were kids.
Yes.
Yes.
Then boom, life moved on.
Yes.
Did not see each other.
2
Yes.
decades after.
And then how did that first, you said message muna.
Okay.
How did the messaging start? What was the story? Because you said
It's
message and then
funny.
call. How did, yeah.
Okay, there's an app called Path.
I've
Path.
never heard of that.
And what does the app do?
It's actually
Is
a
it a
short,
dating app?
It's,
No.
no.
It's like a small Facebook.
Yes.
Small
But like
community.
for small,
Small community.
group of friends. Like you
Okay.
can have like
So that's-
30 friends there
So that's
only.
where it all started. She just
Really?
posted a story.
Yeah,
and then
I
made a
was on
comment,
Path and he was there too.
And then I
Like,
put my number
So
on the comment
I have
section.
to say this. So you crossed paths.
Yeah, there you go. That's why it's
I had to set it up. I was like, you guys, you just made it so easy for that line. I'm so
We-
so you literally crossed paths. You
Paths
saw
again.
her post,
Yes.
again.
and then that's when you started messaging. Like, hey,
I even saved the screenshot of our first ever convo.
No
That's
way.
really sweet.
That's so
Wait,
sweet.
you gave your number
I left
out
my
there.
number
No, so-
there,
There.
and deleted it right away.
Because it was for everyone to see.
I see. So, but then she saw it.
Huh?
Because if you left your number there and deleted it, how did you
Did
then
you see it?
carry on the
I
private?
did, but I didn't save it.
So who
Oh.
initiated contact after the path? You
Of course, of
did. I see.
Yeah.
So there's a direct message feature in that thing.
No.
No. How did you find a way to connect with her?
I
He
don't
put his
remember.
number there, and then I didn't save it. And then when I checked it, it was gone. I'm like, ooh, I didn't save it.
Sayang.
So I messaged him like, I'm sorry, I didn't save it. So,
So
will
you
you
messaged him on the platform.
on the
So you
platform.
can message each other on the platform. All right.
Yes.
But
And
it's
then,
public for
For
everyone
public,
to see.
yes.
just
I
for our
see.
friends,
Yeah.
for
I
our
see.
small
Yeah.
group of friends.
right.
So
And then that's when
that's
you
when it
started
started.
reaching out. And
Yes.
okay. And then how soon after, or how many years after from that first crossing of paths did you then get married?
Okay. 2012, we got married 2017.
Oh, so it was a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
So
we were long distance. He was mostly in the States.
Relationship.
He had to finish a lot of things there,
Mm.
especially his citizenship, be
Yes.
able to finalize that.
Okay.
And then that was really our plan. Like, make sure that's done. And then maybe we can
Right.
plan on.
So
Okay.
now let's talk about.
Wait,
so
but she just said the voice. That was the only thing. Come on, it's not the only
Yes.
thing.
Uh,
The only thing
you said
that,
initial. You
okay,
asked what
initially,
initial. See,
yes.
that's
as you got to
it's a
know
trick
him,
question.
as you
So
got to know-
that's actually very funny because I was here and there were also other guys who were showing interest,
Mm.
diba? And I find it so odd that I'm really drawn to him and
Mm.
he's not here.
Mm.
she
So-
found it odd. Past tense.
Yeah,
No
sorry,
longer-
sorry.
no,
Yes,
just to be clear,
I
right?
found it odd that I was really drawn to him
Yeah.
when in reality he wasn't here.
Mm.
Tapos parang, yun, it started that way. And then siguro what I really liked about him was that he was very consistent. He would
Mm.
really check on me, call me, make sure he's like always there. And unlike the others, when it's easy, only when it's convenient. But with him, I really felt that he was really pursuing me. He was really serious in pursuing me, and he really made me feel like I'm here.
Mm.
And siguro that's a big part. Like I felt that he made me feel somehow a bit secured.
Mm.
I feel good when I'm talking to him.
Yeah.
Like he's so easy to talk to.
Did he help you process your loss at the time? Like, would you open up about that? Not so much, because you
think
just
we
lost
did.
your
I think we
husband.
did.
I don't remember.
At that
Doesn't
time
remember.
before I think our first conversations were about our relationships. Like
Mm.
what went wrong with his relationship, how mine went, and
Mm.
what I was going through at that time, and then mostly about things like that.
And I
Mm.
want to find out more about that.
Yeah.
Ask you now, but so let's establish it, right? So the unique situation that you're in, well, maybe not even unique given the data now, right? But you were single parents, you met each other, crossed paths, married 5 years later after that. So you now have one child each from your respective
Mhm.
pasts as single parents. Now, how many kids do you have? We mentioned their names in the past episode also. So how many kids do you have now together? And what are their ages?
4. So 20, 16, 7, and 5.
Great. So 20 is Ice
Yes.
with
16
DJ.
is-
16 is Nathan, from Camille. Of course, when you say from, it's really both your kids now.
Yes.
And then the two you had biologically would be?
Nala
Nala
and
and
Nolan.
Nolan.
And how old are they?
Nolan's
7.
7.
Nolan is 5. Nala is 7.
5 and 7. Okay. And they're playing with our kids right now. They're having a great time while we're chatting here, right? So you did mention that you were exchanging notes on the relationships around you. I think part of the practical questions many families who are in your situation are asking is, how do you navigate the other relationships? The fact that, at least in your case, it's a bit different because your husband passed, right? But are there any ties with Nathan and that side of the family? In your case, the mom of Ice is still alive. So there is that. So how are you navigating the others, if you will, as you're blended together now, as God has brought you together? Some of the things you're learning, maybe you're still in.
How we navigate it now or before?
Let's start before.
Before.
Oh, chaotic. That's the word.
And imagine, we all live in one village.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
not know this.
On top of that.
That's right.
Yes.
When you say all, your side.
Neighbors.
Oh,
They were
sorry.
neighbors.
His side.
His side.
Yes.
Actually, they're 2 houses away
Oh,
and a
us.
main street.
Us.
And
And the
Camille's house.
mom of
Oh my
I.
Oh, that's
Okay.
super neighbor.
That's
Super
Yes,
neighbors.
just
two
saying-
houses
yeah.
apart.
They're in with their window.
So that was chaotic.
Yes.
It
Right.
was. It was.
Because our parents were also involved.
Yes.
Mm.
So not only the relationships, but also our parents were involved.
Right. And I think many blended families here can totally empathize with this. So let's talk about it was chaotic. I'm
Mhm.
sure there's still some chaos today. How did you start creating some sanity or some peace in those relationships? Some practical things that you did that you learned that you
It's
can
gonna
help-
take 1 hour.
Let's go. Now I see them deep in thought. They're ready for it. Let's go.
Well, it all started with humility.
Mm.
It all started with humility with Camille.
Now that's
no,
a big
let's
one.
let's start from before.
From
From
before.
before.
Edric said, now na.
Now na ba? No,
Uh,
before kasi it
yeah,
was
what
really
did- what-
very
yeah, good.
it was really
Okay.
very hard because ako, to be honest, I don't know if it I'm definitely sure it's immaturity. Like I couldn't wrap my head around the idea that I have to constantly share VJ with another.
Family.
Yes. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I really like this guy, but I don't think I can, manage this feeling of really accepting that he will always be a father to another child that is not mine. And, that there's a mom there who would always need his support because he's the dad. So that would really eat me up alive. Like I
Mm.
would remember there were times wherein he needs to be present at like school programs. And then they would have family photos together and it would literally kill me.
Because you were married already at this time.
No. We
Oh,
were
not
still
yet married.
yes.
No,
So
not-
there was a bit of like a feeling of what if I'm not really supposed to be here?
Mm.
I asked myself a lot of times that
Mm.
am I really supposed to be here? Should I be fighting for this relationship or should I just, wave in the white flag and go, just maybe if
Mm.
this is something you can still fix.
Mm.
And I think at one point we talked about
Mm.
that, because it was really very hard. And then our parents were getting involved. Like apart from that happening, my parents would be like, really, Camille, you have a second shot at starting a new life with somebody else, and why would you choose someone who already has a child?
Mm.
I mean, that's already a problem. You already are a problem on your own. And then yung person pa that you chose to be with may
Complicated,
sabit din. So parang, is this really something you want for yourself?
Mm.
So those are the things that was happening on my end.
Mm.
And of course, on his end, I remember, there were really a lot of moments there that, of course, they were against our relationship. I
Mm.
remember VJ was being asked to just fix it with, whatever
Because-
relationship they have.
That was an ex-girlfriend, but that was a long time ago that you were in a relationship with her, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
But they
they've
were
been
just saying that
together
for
like 8
convenience-
years.
Oh,
Probably
it's kind of long.
8 years.
So for convenience sake, because she was the mother, might as well
Might as
try.
well do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Try. Yeah.
So we just fought it out. I think that's one of the things that we were very clear from the very beginning. Like we really wanted to be together. So to be honest, at that time, we weren't really thinking about how to parent our kids. We were like, we have to be together.
That was
That's our
step
goal.
one for
That's
you,
the
right?
goal.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
objective.
But you did not have your first baby together, Nala, until you were married, obviously,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So it's like it was not out of wedlock, if you
Yes,
will.
No,
yes.
And
Thank
just
God
for the
we
the-
learned from that.
and for all the listeners and the people watching here, just for the record, you are not married to the mother of
Not
Ice,
married.
right? Just to be clear. So
Yeah,
Not
you-
because
married.
somebody did ask me that
Yeah.
at one point, and I was trying to
Yes.
explain to them, no,
no, they were not
VJ
from
was,
past marriages. He
VJ
was a
was
solo
not.
dad.
Someone asked you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody asked me.
The single
Somebody was
dads,
curious
right?
Yeah.
So let's go back. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is there was complexity, it was chaotic, and your singular goal was, you know what? Let's not worry about parenting our respective kids. Let's just find a way to get together.
Yes.
Mm.
So you're now together. You now have 2 kids together, plus Ice and Nathan. So wonderful family that God has allowed. From that point to here, what are the lessons about dealing with the others that you can now share looking backwards? This is what you were saying earlier, VJ. Now looking backwards, not from the start. Now you're here. What have you learned that has helped make the relationships harmonious? VJ.
I think that part wherein you mentioned about
You said humility.
yeah, humility.
Humility.
Well, that's first. We want to share what happened there, how it all started.
to
So
be in our blended family situation, technically VJ doesn't have someone to speak to or someone
Mm.
to need to have to actually have to be in touch with when it comes to co-parenting with
Mm.
Nathan.
Mm.
But on his side, of course, the mom of Ice is still there. And one of the things that, God impressed in my heart as we
Mm.
were moving to our new home is that to really fix it with her.
Because
Mm.
I asked Camille to, what if Ice will live with us?
Mm.
And this is the first time Ice is really moving in.
And you're already
with
married,
us.
just to be clear, the
Yes,
timeline.
we
You're
are
already
already
married. You're
We're
thinking
already
about
married.
making it right
Mhm.
with the mom of Ice.
Yeah.
And you're talking about bringing Ice into your home.
Yes.
Because finally, this is the first home that we're actually building for ourselves. We used to live with my parents, and then we moved out, so we were renting homes and actually a condo and a townhouse, which is very
townhouses.
small. So even if Ice moves in with us, he won't have a space. So when we were building our home, he mentioned it to me that I want Ice to move in with us. Like I want to be able to experience how it is to be a father to him because I kind of didn't get to enjoy that. And in my heart, this was a time where and we were really seeking the Lord. And I remember really praying, like, Lord, to be honest, I'm not comfortable having Ice live with us because in my mind, I'm thinking na Ice has a mom and I'm not his mom. And maybe he will have a hard time dealing with me or maybe I will have a hard time disciplining him because I don't know how. We don't have that kind of relationship. I'm his tita. So in my mind, I'm like, Lord, I don't want to I don't want to move into this house and and be walking on eggshells because he's there. And I know also that I understand his desire to have a relationship with his son. So I go, Lord, I know what I'm feeling is wrong. Remove this, take it away from my heart, change the way I feel because I know ito yung tamang gawin eh. So help me feel also na ito din yung gagawin ko. Not because also because I want to submit to VJ and be able to have him experience that. And another thing that God impressed in my heart is that, your husband actually is being a father to Nathan, who isn't his biological son. And why won't you give him a chance to be a father to his own son?
So it took a lot of unselfishness also, right?
Yes.
Because that's what you were struggling with.
Yes.
But then for you, VJ, how did you also kind of now have a better relationship with Camille's family? Because you're saying at the beginning it was more of a struggle. So how did God also work in there so that at this point you guys are better in your relationship with one another, even though it didn't start off that way?
Well, first off, my intention with Camille was very clear.
Mm.
I knew that I like her. I want to be with her. I want to marry her. So I just showed up to their house. This is my intention. Regardless, you say bad things about me, that's not gonna stop me from getting my goal.
Pursuing.
Pursuing.
They had a singular goal. Remember that?
That's my objective, to marry Camille.
Mm.
So that was my only objective before. So yeah, I had to be present there, even if they don't like me. I can feel it.
At first.
At first,
Yeah, yeah.
for the record also. So even if they would, try to
Break us apart. No naman. No naman. But
How did it turn? How did it turn then?
well,
and we traveled. 2014, I was gonna see him,
and
and
they,
then my entire family went with me. So that was the only time that my
Wow.
parents were able to see
The real
his life
VJ.
yes,
in the
Yes.
US. So
Mm.
I think that needed to happen also because finally they have clarity on so ito pala yung buhay ni VJ. So this
Who
is
is
what
this
he
guy?
does. So this was his work. This is what he used to do. And I think that gave my parents a really good impression on, what he's really doing in his life. And siguro, we've been together for like almost 2 years at that time. So probably my parents were also thinking, oh, seryoso na talaga sila. Parang they're really...
Because they were being protective, I
Yes,
imagine,
of
right?
course,
You
of
came from
course.
so much brokenheartedness with the
Yeah.
loss. But so now as a blended family, how did you know at what point did, let's say, Ice start calling you mom? Does he call you mom? He
Yes.
does, right? And then at what point did Nathan start calling you dad? Because that's a trust thing, right? You have to get to that point in their lives where they feel that relationship with you guys enough to call you mom and to call you dad. So how did that happen?
I think as far as I remember, it was after we got married, right?
Yes, like
After we
right
got
on the
married.
day.
So Nathan calls me Tito
Mm.
Before.
before, when at the age of 5 years old.
Mhm.
So he calls me Tito. And then when we got married, I how did that happen? Did he
I re-
talk to me or
I remember we were in the car and then we go, and you asked him like, so when are
you gonna
start-
call me daddy?
Oh.
I asked that question because Nathan naman was very small, di
Yeah.
ba? Parang he doesn't really know what's happening.
Yeah.
So when are you gonna call me daddy? So I said maybe kapag nag-marry na kami ni mommy, then you will call me daddy na.
Mm.
So after really, di
Like
ba?
literally after the wedding.
So he said yes. When you asked him that
Yes.
question, he
sure.
said,
Yes,
yes, I'll
yes.
call you daddy after. Okay.
After marriage. So after married, after we
wedding
got
day.
married, the
The
wedding,
The wedding day.
he really called me daddy.
Daddy after.
Oh.
So it was a switch.
Yes.
Or what about Ice?
For
It's a little bit
Ice,
more complicated as you were
Yes,
sharing, and it was so
yes.
beautiful. I just wanted to frame that again for everybody, that you made the effort
It
to
was
reach out even on your end,
yes.
and you were willing to bring him into your home so that
Yes.
he could be a father. That is very selfless. So
And she repaired the relationship.
Yes.
she did.
You
Yeah.
repaired the
She
relationship that you
initiated everything.
with
towards the mom of
Towards
Ice,
mom of
Yes, Ice. yes.
right? So he's in your home now. So at what point did he start calling you mom?
Mothers
That was
also.
actually the transition because I knew he was coming to our home na. So I'm like, God impressed it in my heart. He goes, you have to message the mom. I'm like, why would I do that? Like at first, diba? And then the third time it came to my mind, I'm like, okay, Lord, I know this is you because why would I think about this? This is definitely is not my thought.
Mm.
So I prayed about it and I reached out to her and then I'm like, Lord, okay, I'm gonna do this because I wanna obey you, but you have to also help me what to say.
Mm.
Because I may have, I can easily message her, but if the message come across differently, then it will defeat the entire purpose of really wanting to reach out. And God impressed it in my heart to just start with an apology.
Mm.
It's been 10 years and I'm sure at some point my decisions to be with VJ hurt her.
Mm.
We all got hurt in the process of that transition of VJ and I really choosing to be together. And I just apologized for that. And, by God's grace, I wasn't really expecting that she would reply. I'm like, I'll just do this and then God will take care of her heart. And then she replied and she goes, I have been praying about this for a long time.
Wow.
She said that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And that really, I was really in tears during this time. And then we met, we had coffee. And then it turned out we were actually chatting for like more than 3 hours.
You
And
made
VJ
telebabad also.
Yes. And then VJ
Oh, but this was
like,
live.
person.
This is in
"Tayo
person. In
umuwi."
person.
Yeah. But I praise God for that. It was really very easy and very light. And knowing how I was and how jealous I used to be,
Mm.
God removed all that.
Wow.
Because I really I felt that my relationship with Ice, malaki pa yung i-improve niya.
Mm.
And I think the only thing that's hindering that is because Ice feels something.
That you are,
Yes,
yeah.
that we're not really talking
Yeah.
about. Like, when we're together, okay, you spend time with us or a family, lala, but talking about the other side of the family, that's like taboo. We don't talk about them.
Mm.
And I feel that's weird because that's his family. And why does it, whenever the mom is being brought up, parang he feels kind of awkward. Oh, why are we talking about this?
Mm.
So parang in my mind, there's something wrong with this setup. It's not right. So I reached out to her, and then after that, come Mother's Day. Because he moved into our house April, so
Mhm.
May is Mother's Day. So they asked me what I wanted as a gift, and I go, I just want a letter. So they all gave me letters, and then Ice gave me like three back to back bond paper of letter of
Wow. A
Written
message,
out.
a long
Yes,
message.
a long message. And he goes, Happy Mother's Day, Tita Camille. I'm like, oh, thank you, guys. So I'm like, oh, you read it now. And then when I felt na it's kind of thick, sabi ko, I'll read it later. Kasi I wasn't really sure what
Right.
he was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say. And baka mag-meltdown ako doon. I
Right.
don't know. So when I went up, I read it. And he started sharing about how I made him feel the moment VJ and I got together and how grateful he was that I actually took him, you know, and I accepted him because sabi niya, being, you know, Papa, may +1 siya, and you just embraced me as your son. And you know, that really, really touched my heart because I knew that I wasn't giving my 100% to him. That I had a lot of inhibitions, that I had a lot of hesitations. I made myself believe na tita mo lang ako. So na I could have done better. And you know, and I didn't realize that even if I wasn't really giving my all, he was appreciating all of it. So at the end of that letter, he just finished it with, my mom told me that you really care about me and that you really love me.
Wow.
So from now on, sabi niya, I'm gonna start calling you mom. Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day,
Oh,
mom.
this is so
Yeah,
sweet.
and it's really one of the most beautiful things that God made me, you know, that God gifted me with. Because at first I thought I was being selfless, like I was the one who had to reach out to be humble, but God made me feel that no, this is really for you, because the being able to receive love from someone who didn't come from you is
So
even
special.
more beautiful.
Yeah.
Because of course your children will love you. They're your mom. They technically grew up with you. You breastfed them.
Yeah.
But for Ice, it's not natural for him to love me.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yet he loved me just the same.
You know, I see here that I think we need to call it out because, you know, a lot of people don't think this way when they're, let's say, a blended situation and they come together as husband and wife. But there's so much brokenness that has happened before they come into this relationship that should be addressed and healed and restored if possible. Because then when you start with your family, there's like blessing from the Lord because you've done your best, right? To make sure that your relationships, even outside, have been remedied, have been taken care of. We're so blessed by that because I don't think a lot of people think of that angle. And then you see that it's also healing for the children involved when they see that, you know, my parents, they want to make sure that everyone is restored, everyone is healed, and it like frees them now to also love because they actually, like you said, they have so many inhibitions and things that they're wrestling with. They don't know how to bring it up, they don't know how to frame it. But if you guys exemplify that desire for unity, even outside the context of your own marriage and relationship, then it's so healing for the kids involved.
You know, Joy, a lot about Ice has changed when that happened. Like before, I feel like ang iniisip lang niya, this is really not my home. Hinihiram lang ako ng papa ko. Tapos doon naman sa side ng mom niya kasi may family na rin.
Yeah.
So yung, alam mo yung feeling na you're in between houses.
He's displaced a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they have their own children
Yeah.
and you're in between. So you don't really have a place. But after that happened, like Ice really felt that this is my home. This is where I belong.
So beautiful.
I'm a part
Yeah.
of this family. I'm not just
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
I'm also most moved because I think the deeper spiritual perspective I have of this is when you said that what made it beautiful is he was not your biological child, not necessarily your natural child, if you will, and you're not his natural mom, but you chose to show him love, and he responded by choosing and sending you that beautiful card. The spiritual insight I see there, it's so true for us. We're not the natural children of God. He had one son, and yet he chose us, and because he loved us first, when we love him back, there's something so beautiful that happens, right? And so that's kind of what moves me. And I think on that note, as another teaser, we'll talk more about how that faith, we've talked a lot about God and these things, but how that has impacted your family. And we'll talk about learning because that's a special angle there as well. In the meantime,
Yeah, I'll just close with this. I think that what we're learning from this this time together is that everyone in the family, when you come together as a blended family, needs to feel that sense of belonging, right? And that they now take on the identity of your current family and feel like, I'm really a part of this. And there's no favoritism. Everyone belongs. Everyone feels equally loved. And that's so important to make sure that your family, as a blended family, is now a healthy, whole family.
awesome. So again, I'm Edric,
I'm Joy.
and we're here to help you get it right from the start.